Take a minute and think about all the items you dispose of each day. During a given day, we throw out a variety of items, including uneaten food, junk mail, broken items, and packaging materials. Although we just call these items trash, formally these items are examples of solid waste. Solid waste is a general term used to describe objects or particles that accumulate at the location where they are produced. Now, think back on the amount of waste you produce each day and multiply that by 300 million, which is the approximate population of the United States. That would be one large pile of waste. In fact, each year in the United States, over 11 billion tons of solid waste is disposed of. Due to the large variety of items that are considered solid waste, the type of waste is often divided into two categories. The categories of solid waste are referred to as municipal solid waste and non-municipal solid waste, and these two types of waste vary by where the waste originates. Municipal solid waste refers to any non-liquid waste that is created by an individual person, household, small business, or institution, such as a school or hospital. This type of waste is commonly called trash or garbage and includes everyday items, things that are broken, food that is spoiled, or simply any item a person no longer needs or wants. The most common items disposed of as municipal solid waste are paper, yard trimmings, food, plastics, metals, rubbers, and textiles. In recent years, the amount of electronic waste, also known as e-waste, has drastically increased as people become more reliant on electronics, such as computers and cell phones, that are replaced and disposed of frequently. Based on the definition of municipal solid waste, the waste that you dispose of every day would fall into this category. In the United States, people produce around 220 million tons of municipal solid waste each year. Although it is necessary to dispose of items, the shocking fact is that 25 million tons of the total amount of municipal solid waste is something that is valuable and important for human survival. Food. Food accounts for a large amount of waste each year. It is estimated that nearly 1/4 of the food produced is disposed of. In a world where some people are struggling to get enough food to survive, this statistic is alarming and bothersome. Although municipal solid waste is what we as individuals are used to, there is another type of waste that produces much larger quantities of material. Non-municipal solid waste is any non-liquid waste that is created due to the production of a product. Although products can sometimes turn into municipal solid waste themselves when they break or are done being used, non-municipal solid waste refers to any waste that is created while the product is being manufactured and before it reaches the consumer. The amount of non-municipal solid waste fluctuates more than municipal solid waste because it is influenced by changes in consumer demand and consumption. Non-municipal solid waste is a large category of waste that is often divided into three types: mining waste, agricultural waste, and industrial waste. Mining waste accounts for the majority of non-municipal solid waste in the United States, but the exact amount is difficult to determine because of the nature of mining. The main source of mining waste is the rocks and soil removed from the ground. Mining waste also includes the equipment used and any waste produced at the mining site. The exact amount of mining waste is hard to determine because the waste is not always accounted for or disposed of properly, such as rocks being dumped illegally. The second most common type of non-municipal solid waste is agricultural waste. Agricultural waste includes any waste produced from raising livestock and growing, harvesting, and processing crops. Agricultural waste is unique because the majority of it is organic and can be recycled and reused for other purposes. For example, manure from livestock can be used to fertilize crops. Unused plant parts, such as stems and seeds, can be used to add nutrients to the soil or burned for energy. The last and least common type of non-municipal solid waste is industrial waste. This is the waste from an industry other than mining or agriculture. The most common examples of industrial waste are waste from demolition and scraps of material from manufacturing and clothing production. Now, let's review solid waste and the different types. Solid waste is any objects or particles that accumulate at the location where they are produced. This type of waste is often divided into two subtypes based on where the waste comes from. Municipal solid waste is any non-liquid waste that is created by an individual person, household, small business, or institution. This includes the waste that you produce and dispose of on a daily basis, such as uneaten food and papers. Non-municipal solid waste is any non-liquid waste that is created due to the production of a product. This type of waste is categorized even more and includes mining waste, agricultural waste, and industrial waste. The amount of waste generated in the United States has almost tripled since the 1960s, and on an individual basis, each person produces around 60% more waste. As the human population increases and we as consumers acquire more goods, the amount of waste produced is going to keep increasing. This can be a frightening thought when you consider what will happen to all of that trash. For the sake of the human population and the future of the planet, it is important that waste be handled correctly. It is also important for people and industries to reduce the amount of waste they are producing and to reuse and recycle items whenever possible.